Every amazing thing that's ever been built, every groundbreaking product, it all started as just an idea in someone's head. But how do you get from that initial spark to something you can actually hold and use? Well, there's a crucial bridge you have to build between concepts and reality. And today we're going to talk about the power of building that bridge. And that brings us to the big question, the one every inventor, every creator has to face. You might have the most brilliant idea in the world on paper, but how do you really know if it's going to work in the real world? How can you test it without betting the whole farm on it? Let's dive in. So, what's the secret? Well, it's not some magic spell. It's actually a process. And we're going to be looking at a fantastic framework developed by Dr. Kwasi Osafo Ampadu. He took the classic engineering design process and did something amazing. He adapted it into a 10-step guide that works for pretty much any field of human endeavor. We're talking from archaeology to zoology. It's a universal roadmap for making ideas happen. Okay, so here it is, the whole shebang, Dr. Ampadu's 10-step process. It's the full journey, right? From identifying a problem through all the research and brainstorming and all the way to the finish line. It's a really comprehensive map, but today we're going to zoom in. We're going to focus on one specific step that is absolutely critical. It can literally make or break a project. And that step? It's number 9. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's where your idea gets its first real test. All right, welcome to step 9, prototyping and testing. I like to call this the reality check because all the plans, all the beautiful drawings, all the theories, this is where they have to prove themselves in the cold, hard light of day. This is where we find out, does your idea actually work? And Dr. Ampadu himself just nails it with this quote. You can run all the computer simulations you want. You can have the most elegant theory, but at the end of the day, you can't be sure about any of it until you actually build the thing and test it. Theory is nice and clean. Reality, well, reality is messy. So when we say build it, what are we actually talking about here? Does it mean you have to go straight to the final, super expensive, polished version? No way. Instead, you start by creating models and prototypes. These are early, rough versions designed for one thing and one thing only, to help you learn. That's where the prototype comes in. Think of it as your idea's first step into the real world. It can be a super simple mock-up or a fully working model. The goal is always the same. Test your concept cheaply before you go all in. It's all about failing fast so you can learn even faster. And you've got a few different ways to do this. You could make a physical model, heck, even out of cardboard, just to get a feel for its shape and character. Or you could build a mathematical route and build a model using equations. Or, and this is a big one, you can build a scaled model, a smaller or larger version. But that last one, oh, it comes with a really tricky problem you might not see coming. Yeah, you'd think making a perfect little miniature version would be simple, right? It should act just like the big one, but smaller. Well, nope. The laws of physics have a little surprise for us. And here's why. It all comes down to a fundamental rule of geometry. As something gets bigger, its surface area grows by the square. But its volume, that grows by the cube. They're not growing at the same speed, and that changes everything. Okay, let's make this real. Think about heat. The heat something generates is usually tied to its volume, which grows by the cube. But the way it gets rid of that heat is through its surface area, which only grows by the square. See the problem? As you make your design bigger, the heat it creates just explodes, way, way faster than its ability to cool off. Your perfect little model could literally melt when you build it for real. So what's the big takeaway here? You have to be so careful when you're scaling things. What works small might completely, spectacularly fail when it's big. This is exactly why testing is so vital. It finds those nasty surprises that theory alone just can't predict. Okay, so you've built your prototype. You've kept that tricky scaling problem in mind. What now? Well, now we get to the second part of step 9, the test itself. This is where we stop guessing and start getting some cold, hard data. And testing doesn't have to be super complicated, at least not at first. You can start by just, turning it on and watching what happens. Then you can get more serious, attach some sensors to measure things like force or temperature. And for the real pros, you can even stick it in a controlled environment like a humidity chamber to see how it holds up under pressure. So after all that building and measuring and observing, it all comes down to this, right? Did it work? Did it pass the test? It feels like this giant final exam for your idea.
where everything is on the line. But that's not really what this is about. Just look at the diagram. See where those arrows are pointing? They're not pointing to a finish line that says success or failure. They're pointing backwards. The results, they send you back to an earlier step. Maybe you need to tweak your design, or maybe you need to rethink the entire problem. The test isn't a final exam, it's a feedback loop. And that right there is the most important idea of this whole process. In a good design process, failure isn't the end. It's not even really failure. It's just data. It's pure, incredibly valuable information that tells you exactly how to make your idea better. Prototyping and testing, they are the engines of innovation. So what does this all mean for you? Next time you have that spark, that brilliant idea, don't just let it sit in your head. Think about step 9. Ask yourself, what's the simplest version of this I could build? How could I test it? Because as we've seen, the road from a dream to reality, well, it's paved with prototypes. So I'll leave you with this. What idea of yours is ready for its reality check?